Hey everybody, Josh Ojima here, Design, Make, Teach live here on YouTube, and I'm doing something new today. I'm doing a live unboxing, and as you can probably tell from the title, it's going to be the Silhouette Alta, which is this is new for me. Doing a paid anything that's paid. Like people have sent me stuff because they say, "Hey, you're a teacher, you're doing cool stuff. Here's your printer," and there hasn't been any kind of obligation. But this is the first kind of deal where a company said, "Hey, we want you to create some content for us. We want you to write some blog posts, and we'll send you a printer, and we'll give you some store credit. But we want you to do what you normally do, which is write about 3D printing and digital fabrication and how that can be used for different projects and things." And we also want you to do a review. So that's the part that's kind of so let me kind of tell you how that happened. I was on Facebook and I saw an ad for the Silhouette Alta 3D printer. And I have lots of 3D printers. I have access to and have owned lots of different 3D printers. But the thing that caught my eye was how Silhouette, this, in case you don't know, Silhouette is a company that makes other sorts of digital fabrication devices. They make the Silhouette Cameo vinyl cutter, and I have had one of those, and I write about it, and I use it to make stickers and T-shirts and label stuff, and I really love using the Silhouette Cameo as a vinyl cutter for classroom projects because it's small and portable and easy to take in. So I automatically I already knew the Silhouette brand, and the cool thing about this brand, the reason why I was excited about the ad was, hey, this is a company that's already in all of the craft stores. So, places like Michael's and AC Moore and Hobby Lobby and Joanne Fabrics. And that's like a whole audience, a whole market that 3D printing hasn't gotten into yet, is that whole craft store art market. So that alone made it kind of exciting to see this Silhouette 3D printer. But the thing that really caught my eye, though, the reason why I got excited about this was the marketing. Like, I don't think 3D printer companies are necessarily good at marketing, like selling what the 3D printer can do. And so it was cool to see this Silhouette trailer, and where it just showed really practical things like decorating cupcakes or gift tags or little gear hooks or school projects, right? And so it's like really selling realistic things, but to a different audience than most 3D printers are. Instead of saying, hey, you can make anything, it was like, hey, you already make stuff, and this device is going to fit into that. And so that idea of, hey, all of these things that you can do at home, but also being able to do some stuff for school was pretty cool to see that marketing. But the story that Silhouette told, they had the mom making this baseball cookie cutter, and so like the ending shot is the kid and the mom working together, rolling out cookie dough and using this 3D printed baseball cookie cutter to cut out the cookies. And so like that story of, hey, parent, you could be using this to do stuff with your kid. I think that's a story that a lot of companies haven't told, and so it was really cool to see Silhouette do that. And so what happened is I wrote them and I said, hey, I want to do a blog post about this. Do you have any photos? And they said, yeah, here's a package of photos that you can use for your blog post. And then a little while later, they're like, hey, we've kind of seen your stuff. We've seen you use the Silhouette during school occasionally. How would you like to write some blog posts for us? We'll send you a printer. And I said, sure, because I thought about like going to a store and getting one, but they're not in the stores yet. I'm really looking forward to the day where I can just drive like a half a mile from my house and go into the store and see a 3D printer on the shelf, pick up some filament, things like that. But right now, to get the printer right away, I said sure to the deal. So this is an ad, I guess, a paid promotion. They're not necessarily paying me to say particular things, but that's part of the package. The deal is I am getting stuff, and then I'm talking to you about it. So take whatever I say with a grain of salt. But I I have reviewed 3D printers. I was on the Make Magazine review team for 2014, 2015. You know, I'm familiar with the process that I'm going to go through with the unboxing and kind of evaluating 3D printers. So I would like to believe that I'm going to tell you like my honest opinion, but there are, you know, some cut and dried facts of the size, the cost, things like that. If I show you a print from the printer, you're going to know that I printed that out, and you can judge for yourself on the quality of that. So let's do a little bit of magic here. I'm going to press this button, and then boom, right? So here it is, the Silhouette Alta. I've always loved when they started doing this. I reviewed the other mill, and I think that was the first company where I really saw like the product on the outside on the packaging. So that's kind of cool. I am hoping that they're going to sell these in the stores. Like, I'm hoping this isn't too big or it takes up too much shelf space. But there's the box, and you know, it tells you what the contents are. But we're going to actually open it up and look at all of that. I'm checking the chat, see if anybody's here. We got a couple of people who are watching. Great to see you. So let's go ahead and break out the knife. And I know I've been teasing this for a while, but I've been trying to get my camera and lighting and all that stuff going, because you know, it's awkward to go from just being a talking head to having a big box so that you can still see what's going on. And so boom, let's see what we got here. We got some instructions, and I actually like to look at the quick start guides before I get going, but I'm going to go ahead and just put that down here. And there are little Silhouette Alta things, and I think we're going to find out what that is. My guess it's for the print bed. And oh, look at that. All right, maybe a little build plate action. A very, very small spool of filament, and you can't see that. I'm putting that out of the way, so checking the camera here. Oh, and look, there's maybe a spool holdery thing. We got some cables, and let me just drag that down a little bit so you can see a little bit more of what's happening. So we got a couple of different cables, power cables, USB cable, key. We're going to talk about the key in a little bit, and another part of the power brick. So that's all on the top. Oh, filament feed tube and styrofoam. We'll get that out of the way. So this, are you ready? So like, this is my first live unboxing of any 3D printer. Very exciting. All right, boom. There it is. That is the Silhouette Alta 3D printer. So obviously a Delta style 3D printer. And let's rip that plastic out of the way. Boom. All right, and so like this here is just, it's really kind of thin plastic, all right, but definitely keeping the fingers out. And we have some instructions here for software download, user guide, and free content. Go to silhouetteamerica.com/setup. All right, so this is smart, right? So even though it's nothing heavy duty here, but it does, like, there's this plastic housing and there's this door on here, and so you get keys. So right away, I think Silhouette's looking at a slightly different audience, right? You're at home, you got kids around, kids who are curious, and you're concerned about safety. So right away, we have a little key and door. So this part looks to be acrylic. We got two keys here. Boom, lock it up when you're printing. So, you know, I think for school environment or home environment where maybe you're concerned about wandering little fingers, like that's something to think about, and they've got that integrated in the design here. And so, ooh, I think I might need some shears, some scissors here. I'm just going to take a quick look at the instructions. Filament loading lever. That's in a foreign language. So basically it's telling me to go to the website to figure it out, but we're just going to kind of run through this. So there's a couple of columns. So this is all part of the unboxing process. Boom. Pretty typical. So I've never actually, believe it or not, I've never actually used a Delta style 3D printer. I know there are some great Delta style 3D printer companies out there. Just I don't have experience with these, so it's cool, right? You got this white design, and I don't know if you can tell this silhouette cameo. So obviously the kind of the brand here is this white digital fabrication tools. And then we're gonna pull this out here. Boom. So that was the setup. I pulled it up out of the box. I snipped three zip ties. I unlocked the little door, and life is good. So maybe we should talk about the printer, right? So Delta style, the print volume is 124 millimeters by 124 millimeters by 130 millimeters. I don't think that's quite right in that Delta styles, I think they print on a circle, so I think it's 124 millimeters in diameter. If it was 124 by 124, you'd be able to do the corners, but you can't do the corners. So I think it's more 124 millimeters in diameter. I don't have my calipers handy, but that's my assumption here. So a little less than 6 inches. Uses 1.75 millimeter filament. I don't actually know what this part is, but we'll figure that out. I probably should have read the instructions ahead of time. So we're looking good. Let's filament spool holder. And so, like, I don't know what you expect from a live unboxing. I can check the chat again. There's 2 of you, so it is great that you're hanging out. And the live feed looks like it is going. And so, you know, these unboxings are kind of a holiday morning kind of test where you get the present and you test it out. And a lot of 3D printer reviews are just that. You get the 3D printer, you open it, you unbox it. So just a regular 110 plug here. And I'm going to plug it in on my outlet down here on the floor. All right, so that's powered on. And so, you know, these unboxings, these reviews, a lot of times it's just with 24 hours or 48 hours of hands-on with the printer. But really, I think for a comprehensive review, like you need a month or 2 months with a printer to be able to really say for sure how it performs, right? And so these unboxings can kind of be a little bit of a hit or miss, because sometimes you'll get a printer and there's just something small with it, but if you don't have a lot of experience with that model of printer, it might be something that's a little hard to figure out. So this is a top loading printer, and there's a little attachment here. So obviously I got to figure out exactly how this works and feeds, because this Teflon tube is coming up and over here, but I'm going to have to figure out how to feed into it. So, all right, so why don't we follow along? If you're hanging out, I'm going to go to silhouetteamamerica.com setup. And so, you know, the footprint of this is, and I'm going to tell it that I'm in English, and I'm going to click on the Silhouette Alta, and they want me to submit a registration. All right, I'm going to step 2. All right, so we have platform tape sheets. We have a platform. We have a filament spool holder, and the filament spool holder itself is 3D printed, so that's kind of cool. We have that loose filament spool, so let me go ahead and get that ready to go. I've already loaded and looked at the software. One of the reasons also why I'm kind of excited about the Silhouette is because I already have, it's because of the ecosystem. Right, Silhouette has a design store, a lot of 2D vectors that they use with their vinyl cutter. They have a subscription service. You can buy individual designs and packages and all sorts of things like that. But what that means is the designs that I've already created, the 2D vector designs that I've already created and have in my Silhouette library, I can import into the Silhouette 3D software and be able to use that. All right, so now my loose filament spool is ready. I'm just going to hook this over here for a second so it doesn't get all twisted up. And so what else do we have? We have some tools. And that's one thing that Silhouette also has, and the craft store kind of thing is cool, is because, you know, they kind of understand the accessories. That's a way to kind of upsell you a little bit, right? But some of these things come in handy, and it's nice when the people who came up with it provide some of these tools and things. So there's a spatula, some hex key wrenches, and look at this, a nozzle cleaner. Really, it's this piece of little plastic with a little piece of wire poking out of it. So that's kind of cool. And then, of course, you have the keys. And we'll probably need this USB cable at some point. So this is an AB USB cable. So at this point, you know, we're just plugging things in. Remove foam and tape, done. Connect the Silhouette Alta to the laptop, done. Plug the power cord into an outlet. And then continue power on the Silhouette Alta. Okay. Boom, it's on. And then we're going to continue to the next step. Download and install the Silhouette 3D software, which I've already done. Open your library and the software. As you open the software, you'll see the library section on the right-hand side of the screen. And so, like, that's 3D print, store. Boom, boom. Well, we're in the design side. I don't see the library. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull a cube over. And that looks kind of like a 20 millimeter by 20 millimeter cube. So why don't we just do, I'm going to shrink that down. I'm going to shrink the height. So it's a little bit like Tinkercad. There's some basic shapes you can pull over. Not 110. All right. So in the design software now, I've got a simple cube that I've made. This video is unavailable. All right. Boom. Watching. And now I'm learning to use the Silhouette Alta with the quick start guide. And we've already seen that. There's a filament loading lever. So that's what this one is over here, is the filament loading lever. So I still don't see 100% how that works. So I may have to see a demo of that. Print head, build plate. Open the Silhouette 3D software. All right, here we go. So we're going a little deeper. once you've spun. So it wants me to go ahead and 3D print, standard. So this is kind of the thing where select print settings, where sometimes the documentation doesn't quite match with what you're seeing, especially when you're kind of trying to talk. Why don't you finish selecting your settings, click slice. But I don't see the slice, it just says print. So I'm going to go ahead, time and estimate, boom. So this is going to take 11 minutes and 11 seconds. It's going to take 0.78 millimeter or 0.78 meters of filament. And I have just standard PLA default selected. Place the filament on the spool and put the spool on top of the machine. So we kind of done that. Ooh, look at that. So that spool holder, that they 3D printed spool holder, kind of fits just right on top there. Feed the filament on top of the machine and through the filament lever. So apparently there's a little tiny hole, and then put the build plate liner on the print bed. Turn your machine on so it can warm up the filament. All right. So there's a little hole there. With the lever pushed in, it's tight. It's loose, and so we're going to feed that through, so we can see that going in. So that's nice. I don't like the loose coils, but that's kind of what we've got. This is Alta filament, but it's not proprietary. And so then we got to figure out how this comes in. And it looks like there's a little notch here and a little notch in the print bed. And so that looks like it just fits on there. But there's tape. This looks like it's acrylic, and there's tape here, and I kind of feel, I don't know, should I take the tape off? Because I have these Silhouette brand liners here. And I'm feeling, and so they have the fancy Silhouette Alta logo on here, but it feels just the same as this material. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this on. I'm going to put that little notch in. And it doesn't look like there's any switches or levers or anything like that for the door. So we're just going to go ahead and leave that open. I can maybe zoom you in on that if you'd like. Boom. And go right there. And so it's on. It's got my printer name here. It says ready, 21 degrees. And boom. I don't know if I have to feed some more filament in to, I don't see anything about doing a loading operation. So I'm just going to click on load filament, unload filament, load filament. Place filament on top of the Silhouette Alta, thread the filament through the loop on the Silhouette Alta. All right, so one thing I did not do, so let's come back here. Boom. And I'm feeding the wrong way, right? So I'm going to flip the filament spool over. So now when it feeds through, it'll go with the natural curl of the filament. And then I'm going to press the lever here on the side, feed it through the little hole. It's going to come down, 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 down through. Boom. And then I'm going to press load. Ah, look at that. Ah. That's so cool. I always love the sound of a new 3D printer starting, because every printer sounds different. I have a different sound, a different feel to it. So this looks like a Bowden style extruder. Oh, look at that. That is cool. because there's a motor up here, and so the filament's kind of being pushed through here, and so the print head right now is being heated up, and so that's all in the 3D printing software. And so right now I have a Mevo camera doing the cut editing for me for the video. The only part I don't like about it is I can't switch you over to my computer screen to let you kind of see the full action happening. So I'm getting a little grinding here. Not sure what that was about, but now the filament's feeding, and they have a little notch here. It's kind of ingenious. The head pulled over to the front, and now it's kind of right into the notch. But it's good. You can stop now. I don't know if this is because I'm in a wizard. All right, now it's all right. So now we have this pile of filament here. Like, they really want to make sure that filament. I bet you what happened is they fed the full amount of this tube, or a big chunk of this tube, in here into this this little spot to make it work. So I think they don't necessarily have a sensor maybe to figure out how far that is. So they did feed, you know, a fair amount, a decent amount of filament for that. So that went up to it reads in Celsius and Fahrenheit. I got freaked out for a second. I saw 340, and I thought that was in Celsius. So I went ahead and hit print, and I feel like we should have a close up here. So let's kind of zoom into that. Boom. It's going to do a little purge again. All right. Boom. All right, I still have one viewer on the live stream, so whoever you are, thanks so much. We're hitting around 199 degrees Celsius, and all right, so we did a little purge there at the front, and now we're printing the block. So right away, I have advice to anyone who sells 3D printers. Please, please, please have a contrasting filament color to whatever your print build surface is, right? So this is white build surface, this is white filament. You take a picture of that, it's hard to see, right? Like, white is not a very forgiving filament anyways, but to take a picture and Instagram that, or put it up on Twitter or wherever, it's just hard to see. So if you're responsible for loading filament into a 3D printer, please make it whatever. If you have blue, use white. If you have white, you know, use blue or red or black or something that's high contrast, so when you take a picture of it, it looks more impressive. So noise level, the noise level is probably pretty close to what you get with the, maybe a little bit less than what you get with the vinyl cutter, right? I think when you're talking about having a 3D printer in the home workshop, you know, you do want to think about the noise factor a little bit. And I think the 3D printers go a little bit longer than the vinyl cutter. I'm just closing the door a little bit to see if that, I don't know that it will help much with the noise, but you know, maybe. It's hard to say. But anyways, it's like it's locked away, right? So your kids can come over and they can look and they can be all like, oh, that's so exciting, and not have to worry about burning fingers or catching in these parts. So so this is exciting. This is success for any 3D printer to be able to come out of the box with a 10-20 minutes of poking around to actually be printing something. So this printer right now is $299, and I know that there's a lot of very affordable, good value 3D printers out there, and whether or not this makes sense to you, that depends. Like if you're watching my channel, chances are maybe you already have a 3D printer. So this might not make sense to you because you might have one that prints a lot bigger than this. But if you're new to 3D printing, having a big name company, being able to buy it at a bricks and mortar store near you, having a place where maybe you can return it, or you can get accessories and filament and you're not doing stuff online, I think that's really cool. So the whole unit weighs about 10 pounds. The unit dimensions, 9.875 inches by 9 inches by 18.75. So like you're not talking about a lot of floor space, and I think that's probably part of the design decision that they made for this printer is, it's not going to take up a lot of room. This looks like it's could fit in a corner, so sometimes it's hard to use corner spaces in your workshop or workbench, but actually this might be something that's well suited because you can kind of shove it in and it sits there. I like being able to see what's going on. I think that's great when you have kids and you're billing this as a family project printer. This looks really cool, and this thin plastic, I mean, it is kind of enough. All right, so I'm going to check and see. Printing 541. So it gives a status, right? It gives the temperature. It's giving the print time remaining, which is nice. The filament isn't locked down, so you're supposed to be able to use different types of filament in it. Of course, I have a lot of 1.75 millimeter filament, and so I am interested in kind of trying out different filament brands in there. I've right now I don't have a home 3D printer for 1.75 millimeter that can use a wide variety of filaments, so I'm going to be testing that out. This build volume will be interesting to kind of come up with projects that work well for schools. Like, I don't think the smaller build size is necessarily a handicap, in that small things print fast, right? And so, like, being able to have something kind of this softball shape is probably just enough. But this thing it's moving right along. I don't know exactly how I'd go about calculating the print speed here, but it seems to be zipping along fairly nicely. It looks like maybe a 15% infill, like maybe 3 or 4 walls, 3 or 4 perimeters. Like it's doing a fairly thick perimeter there, and so it's 20 millimeters by 20 millimeters by 10 millimeters, and it's going to take 11 minutes and 11 seconds to print. So you can kind of decide for yourself, where that rates to maybe other 3D printers that you've been have experience with. So, why do I say that you can't really do a review on a 3D printer from just an unboxing like this? And I think part of part of the reason why you can't do that is because you don't know necessarily the common things that might go wrong, and how easy those things are to fix, what it's like to deal with support, how fragile things are or how robust and sturdy, you know, the consistency of things, how well the software works. There's all these things that, you know, can be really great. They work well once, and you know, you have a really good opinion, or they fail on you one time, and you're like, oh, I hate this 3D printer. But you know, you have to kind of day in and day out for like a month really use a printer to kind of really understand all the strengths and advantages or disadvantages that a particular printer has. So this is kind of me vamping a little bit while this print works its way out. If you want, I can kind of zoom you in just a little bit, and you can take a look at there and in action. It is wild to see a Delta in action. You know, I've seen CNC, you know, the big Delta company who's always at Maker Faire with a huge Delta style printer, and you know, there are other companies that do this style, but you know, I think this is kind of, it's cool to be here and see a different sort of mechanism in action to what I'm used to. I'm used to kind of gantry style XY, and so, you know, my take on this is always like, you get kind of about half, like the height of this, you get about half because of the arms, and so that's what's giving you the 130 millimeters. So, you know, close to 6 inches, and then this was all 18 altogether. So I should probably check. See what's going on. It says I have a live stream health, but it also says the video is unavailable. So not 100% sure what this video is going to look like, but it's exciting to be on the air. And let me tell you, I've been getting kind of tense about trying to do this video for a while now, and I've been putting it off. And so I just came in tonight to get it done, get the nerves out of the way. And let's see, it's doing the top layers now. So I think I've already seen about 2 or 3 top layers happening. And we'll go over here and check the software again. 18 seconds left. Let's see how well the status preview is on what's actually happening. So this says there's like 9 more seconds left. I don't know. It's got to finish this top layer. 4, 3, 2, 1, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. All right. So it was off by 6 seconds. So, you know, that's not bad. Ah, cool. I love the limit switch actions that's happening. Your 3D print has finished. Before removing your print, please wait a few minutes to allow the material to cool down. That is always good advice. Wait for it to cool down. So don't try this at home. I'm not really a professional, but I play one on TV. Obviously, not a heated bed, right? And so there it is, right? That's the print. Again, it's white on white. It's hard to see. And so I'll probably take some pictures of that and put it up on my blog. I don't know if I'm necessarily going to do the full Make Magazine 3D printer test suite, but you know, there it is, right? Your eyes don't lie. A $299 299 3D printer right out of the box, successful print. I'm pretty happy with that. So, you know, it's a school night. I got work tomorrow, And so I think I'm going to cut this short, but I hope you got something out of this unboxing. I'm looking forward to actually taking some of my designs that maybe I already have on in the Silhouette ecosystem. I already have like 2D vectors, and I want to look forward to testing that out in the software, doing a few more prints, and then kind of writing that review that Silhouette asked for. But oh, here they have the print removal tool. I mean, it's plastic, so I'm gonna get that underneath there. So, boom. I don't know about this, right? And I don't know about, you know, doing the Z height calibration. And so I'm hoping I'm not going to tear the tape up here, because that's going to be a consumable. And so if we can save the tape, that would be good. Boom. All right, kids, don't try that at home. Kind of what I do like is the spatula for the vinyl cutters. And so there we go. That's the first print on the Silhouette Alta 3D printer. Successful unboxing. Thanks for tuning in and watching this. Went a little bit longer than I thought, but I got so excited I actually wanted to not just unbox it, but do that first print. So super excited. Leave a comment telling me what you think about the Silhouette Alta, what you think about this video. If you want to subscribe, that would be great. But if you also know like some other 3D printing enthusiasts, you know, who might like this sort of content, kind of send them my way. But I just want to say I'm excited to have anyone opening up new doors for 3D printing, opening up new markets and new places. And so that's why I'm excited about the Silhouette. It's just finding a whole new group of people, adding to the community, so that more folks are involved in what we do. And so I'm excited to see what kind of audience the Silhouette Alta kind of brings into our world, and what kind of new designs we see from all of that. So thanks for watching, and have the best day ever.